guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Janice Enjoys Podcast, where we're all about unlocking life's incredible magic. Here we talk everything and anything that has to do with becoming the best version of yourself, elevating yourself, and um, vulnerability, authenticity, and just becoming better. Emotional intelligence and everything to do with just becoming the best version of yourself. If this is something that interests you, if it's something that you want to gain more inspiration on or more insights on, this is the channel for you. And welcome. If this is your first time to see this pretty face, welcome to Janice Enjoys Podcast. I'm your spirited host, Nyamudogori, and I'm delighted to be with you here. And if you have been with us for the past 1 year, welcome back to my channel, and I appreciate you and I love you so much. This is your first time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, whether it's your first time or you're coming back here, kindly subscribe to my channel. I need your support, guys, and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2024, which I know definitely is possible. Right now we are at 248 or something, yeah, 248 subscribers. And you guys who've been watching my channel without subscribing, kindly subscribe. I really need your support. So if you're looking into elevating yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, and just getting to know who you are, about being self-aware, and to discover yourself, this is the channel for you. I just give you small insights here and there on how to go about it. I'm not yet an expert. I'm in the learning process myself, but I find it better. I find it good that I should share with you the small insights that I have gathered from the conferences, from the books that I read, and everything. Yes, so welcome to Janice Enjoys Podcast. This is season 3. Okay, welcome. Today's episode, I really want to talk about self-image, and yes, self-image and how we view ourselves, and how that affects who we are individually and in the society and in the community. I did a short video just recently. It's here on my channel. I did a short video recently that I was talking about self-identity and how much we are living in days, or we're living in societies or communities that we have a real pandemic of identity crisis. I know I have talked about identity, self-identity before, but I haven't talked about it in detail and with so much emphasis on how much self-identity affects us. I talked on that short video. I was talking about how I came to begin this journey of discovering who I am, and my identity. I didn't have an identity, and how I came to find my identity through a situationship that I was in. And if you've ever had, I'm not sure if you've ever had this phrase that goes like this. If you don't discover who you are, or if you don't become aware of who you are, when you get into a relationship, you're going to discover some of the traumas, especially in a marriage setup. These traumas they are going to eventually come out, because now you're living with somebody who you grew up differently and have different beliefs and everything that is different, and then you're coming together, and then that is now again you're trying to coexist, and this is someone you love, this is someone that you want to build a family with, this is somebody that you're planning to spend a couple of years, not forever with, like we say forever with someone, right? Yes. So if you do not discover who you are, you're going to discover yourself when it's too late, and when you're already in a situation where it's going to be a little tricky to when you've already made decisions, And this is quite true. I find this is quite true, because in that short video, like I said, it is here on my channel. Like I said on that short video, I got to discover that I had past traumas from that situationship that I was in, because this person called it out on me. I thank him. Actually, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for him for calling it out, because I would maybe, who knows, if I would have discovered it too late, that I had traumas in my past, in my past, or who knows if I wouldn't have ever discovered it, and I would have continued living a mediocre life. I would have continued leading a mediocre lifestyle. So I'm so grateful for that. And I have discovered that most of us ladies, we rush into these things because we think, oh, you're supposed to grow up, after college you find a job, and then maybe you find somebody, and then you try to do a kind of a long-term relationship with. I'm not against that. There are people who have done it and it has worked out well on them, but I would really love us to go into these kind of situations, these kind of relationships, when we've already discovered ourselves and not discover who we are in there. We can go there and discover other things when we are there that are not basic. And this begins with how we view ourselves, the type of image we have of ourselves. When you sit down and you ask yourself, who am I? When you sit down in your head, when you're at night, when you're thinking about who you are, I would really love to know, who do you think you are? How do you think of yourself? What kind of thoughts do you have of yourself? Because most people, if not all, I was guilty of that before I began this journey. I was guilty of that, having very low self-image of who you are, and thinking, and this comes from way back. That is why I'm talking about self-identity in this video, today's video. It goes way back since we were kids, because since we were kids, we are expected of, our elders, or the people who raised us, and the teachers, and every adult that is around us, and the environment that we are programmed to live in. We are always expected to be good, to be something better, we are just expected to have some level of decency. I wouldn't say decency, achievement. I would say achievement. Like, you see, when you're young and you have maybe siblings, and maybe you're playing together and you do something, then your guardian or your primary caregiver calls you out and tells you you're doing it bad. That is, first of all, you have a small self, you as a child, inside of you come low. You become low, and then you like go back into a cocoon that you want to hide yourself and don't want to be bad again. Same applies in school. When you get poor grades, or you don't get the grades that you're told to get, because you're told to get those grades, because we don't go to school with formal education or any kind of education. That is why we go there. So when you don't get the grade that you're supposed to get, then you're punished, and then you're shamed, and you're told so many mean things. And I saw a video, somebody saying that our education system really traumatized us, because if you didn't get certain grades in certain subjects, like especially the sciences and the mathematics, you would be traumatized literally, and be made look like you're a dumb child. I remember when I was a young girl, I was transferring schools, and so this one time I went for an interview, and I failed in mathematics. I wasn't very good in mathematics, or any sciences, to say the least. So when I failed in the interview in maths, I was with my mom. So the teacher, I don't remember who. I don't know if it's the teacher or the secretary who was doing the interview, who was making me do the interview. But I don't. But when I failed the interview, my mom was the first person who literally criticized me. My mom laughed at me and was like, what is this that you don't know? This is so easy. You should know this. You should have known this. So this one, that's her telling me that, and she went ahead and made it a big deal. Made a big deal out of it. In that, when I went home, you start getting those comparisons. Oh, this is your smaller sister. She passed the interview. What are you? Why didn't you pass the interview? You're the big one. Blah blah blah. This. So it makes you feel inferior. You start having low self-image of yourself, and then when you go to school and you already have that kind of image of yourself, you cannot even concentrate on that particular subject, or you just even you yourself, you already lost hope of that particular subject or that particular skill that they were trying to teach you. If you choose, and if it's dancing, another good example, I remember in high school. This is now in high school. I've already left primary school. So in high school, I wasn't a really good dancer, or not. I wouldn't say I wasn't a really good dancer. I was quite shy, so I didn't want to dance in front of people. You see, when you go for entertainment in the dining hall during weekends, when you're dancing and you're watching the TV, So I wasn't quite. A bubbly girl in that was my first years in high school. So I remember this one classmate, this one girl told me that I'm very poor in dancing. And she didn't tell, I don't know if she was telling me in a good or bad way, but that got to me as well. You see, I already have a bad image of myself in my academics when it comes to some subjects. And then it comes to this now this entertainment side, this girl now, she's doing this kind of thing. So this kind of self-image, when we grow up, when we become big, when we've already grown up, and we are now people who are catering for ourselves, it's hard to let go of those things, because now we feel like we are less somehow, that we are lacking some things. And that is why we don't give when we are trying to do something, we don't give it our all, because we have low self-image, and we feel like, if I try this one, I'm not going to be able to do it. If I try to talk here, I cannot be able to talk in public. If you're told to do a presentation at work, it's going to be impossible, because, or it's going, your something in your head is trying to tell you, oh, you're not good enough. You remember when you couldn't even do it when you're young. What makes you think that you're going to do it at this your big age? This is the kind of self-image you have, of low self-image, that when you're trying to discover who you are, and to discover this, to begin this journey of self-awareness, that you have to rid of. And the good thing about our mind, and the good thing about our mindset, is that you can do away with those bad self-image only if you concentrate on the good side of the things that you can do better. Because now, you see, I wasn't doing so well in these subjects that we are told, oh, you're going to be. And can I tell you guys something? When I was young, I wanted to be a pilot. If we look at me, so when you see, so when your mom tells you that, and that was my mom. When your mom tells you, oh, you can't do this, what are you saying? You don't know, blah blah blah. These kind of things, they making you look feel inferior about yourself. And then when you go to school, you're told, oh, for you to become a pilot, you have to excel in certain subjects, mathematics, sciences, physics of the science, right? You feel like you cannot do it. And this is what we are trying to fix. This is the identity crisis that I'm trying to talk about here in this channel. This is the identity crisis that I'm trying to change, because I changed it for myself. Because when I became older, and so I was talking about I've digressed a lot. Okay, I've digressed a lot on that. So when I grew up, and this, so I was talking about this situationship that I was in, and how these relationships, they make us realize that the traumas that we have. So I was saying, this person told me that you have traumas. Not directly like that. No, they didn't tell me, oh, you have traumas, you need to go to therapy. No. They were kind enough. They didn't say that, but they pointed out, I really wanted to know, what kind of trauma is this that I do have, and why do I have these traumas? So that is why that is how I started digging on the topic of trauma, and overcoming and healing yourself. I've talked about how I healed myself in my very first episodes of this first season. I first of all, I started doing hypnotherapy. Therapy is really highly recommended, because it starts changing and accepting things of you. It helps you change and accept things that you cannot change about yourself. And when you accept those things, it's easier for you to move forward and embrace the ones that are already there, and nurture them. And nurture them to grow and to be something that you can be proud of, and something that you can work with. So as I am talking about self-identity, we should ladies and gentlemen, we should come to a realization that we are living in a society, or in a world, where people have really lost the sense of identity, and that is why we are losing ourselves in crowds, and in drugs, and in certain things that do not help us grow, and do not nurture us, the people, and the person that you're supposed to be. And when I say the person that you're supposed to be, I don't mean that you already know who you're supposed to be, or the purpose that you have here on earth, or the purpose that you have in this journey of life. It is right, it is okay not to have discovered it yet, but if you start working on yourself and working on your identity and working on the things that are helping you elevate, like having routines, having keeping a journal, growing your mind, reading books that grow your mind, and having enough sleep, and letting go of drugs, for example alcohol. I am a huge advocate of letting go of drugs. Alcohol, when I say drugs, I usually mean alcohol, because that is the only drug that I know and I relate with, because that is the drug that I have used. And it is a drug. Imagine a few years ago, if you told me alcohol is a drug, I would have laughed at your face. But look at me now. Look at me now. So that is the transformative journey that I'm talking about. A transformative journey that is going to help you elevate. So when you start this, the identity, having a positive self-image, and discovering who you are and the sense of identity, it doesn't need somebody else to call it out on you. It doesn't need somebody else to call it out on you. And for me, I was called out because I had a quite difficult upbringing, where I didn't have anybody to lead me. I was operating in a totally flight mode. So when I became an adult, I was still in flight mode until this person called it out on me. That is when I'm like, and by the way, how have I been operating these things, and how have I been, So it doesn't need to get to that point of where somebody else has to call it out on you. You should identify the things that are sabotaging you and the things that are holding you back, that are making, because I ask myself why, some things are quite strange. Some things are quite strange, and that is why I talk about alcohol as a drug that really destabilizes somebody. Especially, I feel like, and I feel like, I am a firm believer that women are not supposed to take alcohol or any drug for that matter, because our bodies are not built like, and our bodies are not like men's bodies, and our tolerance is quite low compared to men. Even if you say, even if you come here and talk to me for more than an hour telling me how much your body can tolerate alcohol, I'll just say you don't know what you're saying. Yeah, that is what I will just tell you, because definitely you don't know. Alcohol is a trigger, first of all, and it triggers women more than men, because I feel like women are more emotional compared to men, and in a sense that women, even the most simplest thing, they have to reason with emotions as compared to men. So I feel like alcohol is not a drug for women, and it's, apart from it having the part where you get addicted and everything, it has so many other side effects of all the effects it has on your health, and leave alone your health, even your mind, and even impairing your judgment, just making everything that is around you become something not true. So when I talk about the sense of self-identity and identifying who you are, I feel like we should isolate ourselves and leave alone all the drugs, and just be with you and yourself. And that is when you start reflecting on the self-image that you think about yourself. Like, you think, like, you because we all have visions of who we are. You think about it, even if it is someone that you admire, you might think about that person that you truly admire, and think about their lifestyle, and think about how they live. And so you put your face, or you put your image, your definitely your face in that person's shoes, and you start thinking like you're them, and you start feeling like you're them. Or if it's not them, you already have a visual of what you think, or just a thought, even if it's not a reality, just a thought of what you think you should be. Like, for me, when I was that time, back then, I used to really admire Oprah Winfrey. That was my first woman that I ever admired my whole life. She is, because she built, she's, the way she talks about herself, about how she built herself, how she the things that she went through before that. I feel like, more or less, I have been in some of the situations that she has been with, because where you talk about how you grew up, how she was, where she grew up in total poverty, and how she became who she is today. But as I grew up, I still admire her. I still have, as many women do, I still admire her, and not only about her money. Of course, I admire her money, but that's how money, you guys. Shit. Not that, but how she carries herself and how she talks about it with so much grace and with so much grace. That is, I would really pray God gives me the grace that God gave her, because it's because of grace, honestly. So when you start visualizing that person and you start thinking about that person that you really want to be, and her actions and the way they talk, even if it's fake, you don't know, whatever, even me, you don't know if this is true or fake, that this is how I talk, or this is how you just think about it. You don't care about them, you just think about yourself. Put yourself in that shoe. You think about how they talk, how they move, how they dress, how they think. I know it's difficult to know how somebody else thinks, but you just imagine. That is just the imagination is the first step of just building a strong self-image, and an image that you think you want to attract better. If you think that they're oh my goodness, if you think that they are good people, if you think that they're people that people can rely on, the way they talk, if you think that they are people who can be held accountable, you're just thinking about yourself, because that is within you, without them talking about it first. Yes, you've seen them, you admire them, you like the way they carry themselves. How do and you feel like, oh, I want to carry myself like this one day, one time. That is exactly how you start building your self-image, and that is how I began it. So when I was called out, when this person told me about that, my trauma, and called it out on me, that is when I began my healing journey, and I began it with a lot of compassion and a lot of confusion. Let me tell you, because you're confused, because you don't know what you're healing from, and you don't know what you're healing, first of all, because we tend to believe that when we are grown up, we don't need to heal from anything, but we really do, because we are not we when you become an adult, you realize that the things that maybe you went through, maybe they were not normal things. And yes, there are people who feel like they don't need to heal. Maybe they were broke, they had the best of their childhoods, and that's okay. I think that is, you should really thank God, by the way. If you had like one of the best childhoods, you should really thank God, because some of us out here really went through it. So if you have those I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted over there. I was checking something here. So if you have those kind of you should be compassionate about it, and begin it, and just tell yourself that this is the person that I want to be, and focus on that person with grace, and focus on them 24 hours of the day of your time. That is how you change your image and become that person that you imagine yourself to be. I'm not saying that I'm there yet, but you can see, you guys, I come here because I'm just showing you guys that it is manageable. Because if I've already told you, how it happened. I was traumatized because I was not one of the brightest students, and I thought that I was the most dumbest person you can imagine. And when I'm here on this channel, people see me as the smartest person. And when I walk out here, people think that I'm very smart. And imagine one day, one time in my life, I thought I was the dumbest person in the world, because I couldn't understand some mathematics equations, or whatever they were, subtraction and multiplications, back in class 4 or class whatever. So you have to change your self-image, even for you to empower yourself. Because if you cannot empower yourself, somebody else will just be like, for me, I'll be just here talking and talking and yapping, and you will not even be getting what I'm saying. You'll be just like, what is this girl even saying? So your self-image, what is in your mind? And self-image, I don't mean like when you look in the mirror and what you see. That is not your self-image. Your self-image is what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself, and what you think about yourself is more important than whatever anybody else in this world thinks about you. It is more important. And that is when you have a strong self-image, a positive self-image, it should be positive. Because if you have a negative self-image, you will never ever have self-esteem. You will never have self-esteem, and you will never go anywhere. Because anywhere you walk in, you expect somebody else to do everything for you before you make your own decisions. And that was me, you guys. I let so many people dictate who I am, tell me who I am. That is not who I was. The person that I am is this one. Is the person that I'm working towards, that I'm working for. This is the person that I'm improving every day. And it doesn't matter, however you think of yourself, there's always room for improvement. Even if you think that you're the grandest person, there's always room for improvement. And these improvements come from other people. You learn from other people, conferences, reading books, getting mentors, listening to podcasts, such podcasts, this kind of podcasts where people who just want to elevate themselves, become vulnerable. When you have low self-image, it's impossible to be vulnerable, and when it's impossible to be vulnerable, it's also very impossible to get help from other people because they don't even know how or where to help you or what kind of help you need. You know, they're saying that this saying that goes like, closed mouths don't get fed. You know, because you have low self-image, it's impossible for you to ask for assistance or help. Have good self-image. Carry yourself with grace. Carry yourself like a confident person. Carry yourself like a person that you want to be addressed. Carry yourself with respect. And this is where I talk about the drugs. When you're taking this alcohol, you disrespect yourself, you disrespect your body. First of all, when you start disrespecting your body, the organs inside your body, you disrespect your mind because it's already impaired. So the next thing you're going to do is disrespect yourself. And disrespecting yourself is where you start doing crazy things, talking anyhowly to everybody, and you're saying you're speaking your mind, you know. That is having a negative self-image. That is having a negative self-image and disrespect yourself, and you have to you don't. That is not who you are. Not who you are. That is not what you should aspire to be. That is not what you should aspire your good self-image to be. You know. So when I come here to talk to you about self-identity and good self-image, I'm really talking from my own perspective, where it has really happened to me and how I changed it, and how nowadays I get treated with respect. Nowadays I get to speak in abundance. I get to speak in a more intelligent way, you know, in a way that pleases me. It not pleases me per se. You know, when you say you're talking in a way that pleases you, people may think you can talk in a bad way, and because it pleases you, it's okay. No. When I say talking in a way that pleases me, I mean I talk in a manner that makes people get attracted to me, want to be associated with me. And I don't mean that everybody will like you. No, not everybody. So many people will dislike you in this process of building your good image, self-image. But you don't need to listen to the naysayers. Whoever dislikes you, let them dislike you. Tena, who told you everybody will like you? Was Jesus liked by everybody? No, Jesus was crucified because people hated him. So you have to do that. You have to check on your image. You have to walk with etiquette, talk with etiquette. You know, and when you have low self-image, that is why you find people talk in certain languages. Me being one of them, I was a victim. Not anymore. I changed that because the way you talk is the way you want to be addressed. Imagine talking in a funny way, in vulgar languages, and then you expect people to address you in a more polite way, in a more respectable way. It's going to be impossible because you've already shown them the kind of language that you use, you know. So you have to make your image, you have to make your self-image from inside. When you make it from inside, it's easy for your image to reflect it on the outside. Because now when your self-image is from inside, you know, it is going to be stronger because it comes from inside. It's not external, it's now internal. Okay, all right. And I pray that you attract genuine connections that are going to help you, and they're going to motivate you to become to on this journey of discovering and just knowing your identity. And your identity, apart from the things that pull us back, you also need to realize that our identity also is in Christ our Lord. When I say our identity is in Christ our Lord, I mean that Jesus is within us and is with us. So as much as you're trying to get to know this, to build your image and to identify and to get to know this self-identity, we should also realize that this person that we are and this person that we are brought here to be, we should be this person that really lives in accordance to how our Lord really wants us to live like, to lead this life like, you know, because this image that we really want to discover and to make is based on him, literally, because he's the law giver and he gave us these laws, and he's the owner of heaven and earth. So you can imagine if the 12 laws of the universe are from him, you know. And also, if you're a Christian and you read the Bible, you know that about the scripture, what it says about. So you really need to work the two together so that you can know so that you can be able to discover it and to live it in a more easier way and a more peaceful way, if that makes sense to you. I don't know if it makes sense to you, and if it doesn't make sense to you, you can ask me in the comment section what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is to make you, how do I put this? Just to make you align with how it is going or how it is working, you know. So that is how it is. So please guys, let's please work on our identity, because lack of identity makes you a pushover. Well, lack of identity makes you a people's pleaser. Lack of identity makes you being used by everybody and everything, and makes you accept things that you don't even want to accept because you don't know how to say no. You know, you don't even know what you want yourself. You just let other people dictate what they want because you lack self-identity. You put yourself in situations that you wouldn't have put yourself if you knew the idea of yourself. I know of someone who put herself. This one now is not me. Because this podcast, you know, it's all about my stories and other people's stories. So I know of someone who put herself in a very terrible situation, just because she lacks identity, and she just, you know, when you lack identity, you like to push yourself where you're not wanted, and I don't know why. It's because you don't know what you want yourself, you know. And that is why I'm talking about healing and healing yourself. If I didn't heal whatever that trauma of not being good enough, that trauma of you're dumb, that trauma of you'll never amount to anything, that trauma of other people are better than you, that trauma of you need other people to lead you to go to where you are, I wouldn't have changed my image. And if I wouldn't have changed my image, who knows where I would have been right now, you know. So this lady, she put herself in a situation that she eventually started living in distress, in chaos, in depression, anxiety, fear, you know. And those are the things that make us want to make us our lives difficult. Let me tell you, it's not the lack of, for me, I don't feel like it's the lack of funds, you know. Lacking funds, it's okay, but because when you lack money to buy this pen today, doesn't mean that tomorrow you won't have money to buy this pen. Let me tell you guys. But when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're in fear, everything will be telling you, hey, you cannot afford this pen. Hey, this pen is only for the rich people. Hey, this pen is only for people like Akina Nyambu. Oh, Nyambu is the only person who can be able to talk on camera. Oh, people like Akina Nyambu are the people who can be able to do podcasts. Oh, you know what and what and what. Giving excuse every now and then. And you're not pushing yourself to become the best version of yourself because you've left other people to do it. And you feel like, me, I'm not good enough. Me, I was born in a setup that we can't. Oh, you know, us in our family, we never do that. Oh, me, I don't have that talent. Oh, me, this and this and this. And those are just excuses. By the way, if I tell you, and if you just fix that small thing, it is just here. Imagine, it is just here. You just fix that small thing and tell yourself that, you know what, I am the best person in this universe. And I can do anything that I want. I can do it. It doesn't matter how or where or what comes my way. I'm gonna do it. Whether it's sewing your own dress, whether it is talking in public, whether it is leading people, whether it is you just have to hear the self-image. A self-image is here in your head, in your mind. This is the thing. It doesn't matter. You can be like this guy. Have you ever seen this guy who doesn't have arms and legs? Imagine if he told himself, hey, who am I to stand in front of people who have legs and arms? He wouldn't have been a public speaker. He's a pastor and he's a public speaker. You remember in FIFA that was in Qatar? Was it last year or the previous year? Let me tell you guys, I don't know if you watched the beginning of that, it's not Olympics, what is it called? World Cup. I don't remember if I don't know if you guys watched the beginning of World Cup when Morgan Freeman was giving a speech in Qatar this at the stadium. Do you know that country people are Arabs, right? And most Arabs, they are very arrogant. They don't like learning other people's languages. So when Morgan Freeman was at the stadium, he was giving a speech. He was giving the speech in English. Let me tell you. Do you know who was translating the speech in Arabic? A very young boy who's totally disabled. Who's totally disabled. That's a way with all your grown-upish and with all your mind, with all your five senses, just because you're told that you're dumb in English, just because you're told you're dumb in mathematics, you feel dumb to an extent of laying off and putting everything else off, just saying, oh, I couldn't manage to do mathematics well in school, so anything else counts off. So you just put yourself here and you just tell yourself whatever, you just accept the bare minimum, and whatever that comes your way, you just accept the little out of life. You just accept, even that is not even the basic, you just accept the leftovers. You know, fix your self-image. Fix your self-image from here, you guys. Have good, positive, super positive. Affirm yourself every now and then. Affirm yourself and tell yourself, that time it was that one. Now I'm a different person. Huh? I refuse to remain the same. And tell your God, I'm not going to remain the same. God, I'm not going to remain the same. I have to change this. I have to change this for my generation. I have to change this for my children. I have to change this for myself. You know? That poor self-image. When you have poor self-image, let me tell you guys, you attract like-minded people, and that is why you're always gossiping. You're always having jealous among each other. And let me tell you, when I had low self-image, that is the time I had 150 friends. I had so many people around me. None of them was bringing me any value. None whatsoever. Value when it comes to raising my mind or changing my mind or making me a better person. Value in bringing me money, in changing my bank account, in growing my bank account. Value in my spiritual life. None. That is why. So when you're in that poor self-image, when you're in that lack of self-identity, when you're not self-identity, when you're in that period where you lack identity, you attract like-minded people. That is why I talk about self-isolation, so that you can be able to vividly think, imagine of that person that you really want to be, or that person that you really imagine you would be. If there were no obstacles, if you didn't fail in that mathematics, who is the person that you would have been? I would have been a pilot. But now I'm not a pilot. I didn't go to acquire those skills. So because I didn't acquire those skills of being a pilot, should I die? There are endless opportunities. That I don't even, maybe I will not be a pilot. I will be something better than a pilot. You know? And a pilot, maybe I'll be the person who owns the airline. You know? You shouldn't limit your mind, because if you limit your mind, then you're putting yourself in a box, and that box is where your self-image, you have low self-image. Self-image, start by making your if you feel, you vividly think about it. Vividly. When I say vividly, I mean like you literally imagine that person is you. So guys, let's work on our self-image from our mind, from here, before it manifests into reality. Let's work on our self-image from here. Our self-identity. And I understand this person when this person told me that they couldn't be with people who have trauma issues, because you cannot. When you're a healed person, you identify people who are struggling with certain traumas from far. And you cannot be with them if you're healed, because you don't align, you don't speak the same language. So you guys, work on your self-image. Make it better. Think of it every day, every time. Stop thinking less of yourself. Stop minimizing yourself. Stop thinking that you are a micro person. You're not. We are not. We are people of value. We are people who are sent on this earth for a purpose. And that is why when your parents were mating or they were conceiving you, you are the one who won the race. If you did want to become a good person, you wouldn't have won that race. That was the first race that you won. That is the first thing, that whenever that you're feeling like you're not good enough, you should think about that. I won that race. I got there first. What makes me less? Nothing. And it doesn't mean that because somebody else is thriving that I'm losing, or that I'm dragging behind, or I'm not going to. It doesn't mean that. It just means that your time is coming. You know? Yeah. Okay. So let's work on that, guys. Let's work on our self-image. Let's work on our identity, for us to be able to elevate ourselves, because that is the beginning point. That is the beginning point. And let go of all those things. Whether this habit of having too much drinking and then blacking out, that is the first habit that you should literally let go. Another habit that we should really let go in this 21st century that we have really normalized, and it is totally abnormal: sleeping around with multiple people. I know. Let me tell you guys, I'm not saying having sex and sleeping with people is wrong, but it is wrong. If you're doing it, just do you, and whatever comes to you, just accept it. And it's not wrong because of the diseases and because of nothing. You can take the medicine. Not just because if you take ARVs and you're okay, you go and take mitishamba and you're okay. It's not about that. It's about how it's affecting your mind and it's affecting your mentality. These soul ties, you start behaving like those people. These things, I'm literally talking from experience, by the way. I'm literally talking from experience. So it's better it's better to just abstain, or have at least one partner, at least that. Oh God, for me, I will just, that is all I can say about that. I will just tell you, yani sleeping around messes everything. And when I say everything, I don't mean the diseases and the STDs. Those ones are just tip of the iceberg. STDs, hiyo ni kitu kidogo watu wangu. Let's just try and have positive self-image and identify who we are, and self-identification, and just become the best version of ourselves. Okay, today's episode, that's all for today's episode. I hope you got a few insights, or got one or two things from this episode, and I hope and I pray that you really work on your self-image and self-identity, to become the best version of yourself, and to elevate yourself, and to build your self-esteem, and to become the best version of yourself. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you next week, guys. I love you so much. If you have not subscribed to this channel, a kind reminder to subscribe. I really need your support to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year. I love you guys. See you next time.
No githena ndereheire wakuona makunia niĩ ndirĩ kĩnanda gĩaku mwendwa kũinagĩria mũthenya nawe ũthũngũthage handũ ha kũina njoki ũgakatika niĩ ndirĩ kĩnanda gĩaku mwendwa kũinagĩria mũthenya.